they are people who will go all out to ensure that they achieve their visions. Now, there's one unique qualities that I have learned that I am learning about leadership recently, and that is the fact that leaders who have good leadership quality are pro people. Pro people, which means that whatever they are doing it for people. All right. So, in the whole of Nigeria, and I'm sorry, and I stand to be corrected. I stand to be correct. I mean, I'm sorry if somebody feel offended. But in the whole of Nigeria, when you look at history, the little history that's available to us, I think we would also talk about the fact that our history, Mr. Oluwatosin, I'm going to ask you about that. The fact that history was suspended in Nigeria, history lesson was suspended in Nigeria. So, to you, Michael, you know, what is it that is wrong with us when it comes to leadership, vision, being pro people? What is really wrong with us? I mean, could it be because, like Mr. Oluwatosin earlier posited, even though I don't believe in such? But let's have your opinion. This is an opinion sharer, so you are free to air your view.
Well, I wouldn't also subscribe to the ideology that it is a cause, but one thing remains that we must note. In every human society, we have the good, the bad, and the ugly elements. But one unfortunate thing about Africa is that the bad and the ugly ones are always the ones who are always privileged, quote and unquote, to find themselves in the position of authority, and which to a very large extent has melted a whole lot of danger on the populace. And when we talk about these bad guys, they are the ones who actually had no vision for yourself and myself, for the coming generation of Africans. And when we know the importance of vision to any man is to give direction, because show me a man that does know where he's going, everywhere will look like the road. So we have succeeded in having men who only want to, by example, be a military, they love to put on the military camouflage, but when there is need for crisis, when war arises and there's need to rise for the defense of the people, they definitely run away. So automatically, it negates the purpose for which the military is designed, just by example. So you don't just want to be a soldier by liking the uniform. You must be willing to stand up to protect the territorial integrity of your land, of your nation, as at when due. So what I'm saying in essence is that the bad narrative in Africa has it that those men who have succeeded in ascending the political offices are actually not the good ones. They are just from the minute population. And this is as a result of the fact that most Africans shy away from political participation. And this, to a very large extent, has robbed the ego of this set of African rulers so much that they just felt like, oh, then I die here, just like we normally say as a Nigerian slang, I die here. So they just want to die there. We saw what happened in Zimbabwe. We saw what Mugabe did, how he held himself tight-fisted to power for over 4 decades. And just like I was telling, I wrote it in my book, for Kagame of Rwanda, she will also watch his back. But there's something I would love to call our attention to: the role that the colonial masters are playing in the manipulation of African democracy can also not be underestimated. For example, most of the Francophone countries, we know France has been accused repeatedly for melding into the affairs of these countries, manipulating them, and countries with resources, they have been using the socio-political crisis to manipulate them for self-gain. So there are documents, historical documents that talks about this. So I think Africans are not just that 100% bad. The contribution from the colonial masters are also fueling some of the leadership crises we are having in Africa today. We saw what happened to Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, late Muammar Gaddafi, how Obama was accused of actually championing how America dealt with Libya. And Libya is suffering the consequences of that today. So nobody is promoting or propagating the gospel that any African leaders should stay in power. Nobody should manipulate the constitution of any country for self gain, for favor. There is need for us to understand the fact that people has the power, people should be allowed to dictate the tone of democracies in their respective countries. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Michael. Now, Mr. Oluwatosin, I would like to ask you this specifically. Why was it that history was removed for almost a decade or two from Nigerians, education curriculum? And I know that you've not been in political office, but I know that you've been around for a while and you've been following the trend of things. And when we talk about leadership, also there's the place of mentorship cannot be overemphasized. The place of tutoring, the place of training cannot be overemphasized. But now, who can we point to in Nigeria, for instance, and say, okay, these are our leaders, these are great leaders, apart from the few nationalists that we know that have influence that is still very relevant today. What's your comment about that?
My comment on history being removed from the school syllabus. Who removed it? There are politicians, there are people that are afraid of their impact in the past in Nigeria and are scared of their story being told to the younger generation. Decades ago, Buhari was the military head of state. Before Buhari, 1999, we had Obasanjo. Before then, Obasanjo was a military head of state. So these guys, they don't have a good track record. They don't have anything they have done that has been written down and can be told to the younger generation about them. So they remove this history from school so that the younger generation don't learn, because they are scared of the impact they have made in the country Nigeria. But they are doing a very great damage to the younger generation, because there cannot be people without history. There cannot be people, and people cannot even go far. So if they don't know where they are coming from, the younger generation need to know what has happened. What happened, especially in Biafra. What happened? An average Igbo boy and girl crying, agitating for Biafra now. It is because they are not told history. Some of them don't really know what happened. They just hearing, I saw, they just hearing, they say. But these things need to be documented. They need to be told. This is, whether we like it or not, this is part of our story. Whether it is sweet or it is sour, we have to tell it, so that the younger generation especially can learn from it. How many people died during Biafra? Do we want to have such case again? Even because these guys are not treated well then, and that is why they still carry the guilt of yesteryears to today. That's why an average Igbo guys is still clamoring about Biafra. But if we have told the story and we have treated what the root cause of that event, and everybody that participated in that crisis, the story is told accordingly. The same thing happened in Rwanda, and now they have moved on. Everybody have since forgive themselves, because they tell them their story, because they talk about it, and now they have moved on. But we have people in Nigeria that have once ruled us before, and they have many skeletons in their cupboard. Buhari will not want you to know, you will not want the younger generation to know that he was the minister of petroleum some years ago, and a particular amount of billion naira went missing, and another president was there, Abacha, and cover him up, and today he's celebrating Abacha that is a saint. Buhari will not want you to know that, will not want the young generation to know that. That is why they remove history from from the school syllabus because they don't have a track record.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Oluwatosin. Michael, I'd like to ask you a little bit of what would I say? It's philosophical question. You know, this is just my own ideal thinking. What do you think is the relationship between our culture and the kind of leadership system that prevail in Nigeria today?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think this question is also addressed in my book. And let me say that the political leadership in there is indoctrination of cultural and religious leadership style into Nigeria's, or rather Africa's, democratic style of governance, most especially the political environment, which has made it so difficult for the younger generations of Africans to participate in the democratic space. And this is the belief. For example, at the family level, you dare not sit wherever your father is sitting. It is expected of you that you stand. And of course, you dare not talk wherever your father or your grandfather or your forefather, wherever they are talking. It's seen as a disregard for the older generation. This is a mentality that has been injected into us as young Africans. I'm not disregarding, or I'm not saying that we should not promote the culture of respect, but when it comes to decision making process, what it has to do with my life, what it has to do with your life, I think we should totally erase the ideology of, okay, he is an elderly person, let him do it. And that is what has landed us into this state of into this present quagmire. We have over promoted leaders, or rather rulers, who does not have the capacity to march out the cause of change in our society. And that is the reason why we are where we are as a people. Because somebody is from my tribe, because somebody we profess the same faith, that is not a license for me to actually support him in emerging as a political leader. Politics is entirely different from what is obtainable at the cultural level. But so unfortunate that the cultural lifestyle of an average African has diffused into the political space, and which has to a very large extent affects, or rather it has affected, the younger generation of Africans. So we have now believed that it is the elders thing, so let them do it.
Wow. You see, I think we're in trouble, okay? Because as long as this uh, thought process or processes persist, we are not close to change. And that's why you probably see what the way an African or an average African think about political power, the way an average Nigerian, comment about young aspiring political leaders in Nigeria. You feel sometimes it just feels so bad, you know. Anyway, let me go to Mr. Oluwatosin. And I want you to I want to have your opinion about democracy as it is practiced in Nigeria or in Africa vis-a-vis freedom of speech or freedom of expression.
Yeah, democracy as it is practiced in Nigeria and in Africa. Um, well, we can feel because we are young in democracy and that we are not that practicing it as it should be, and also because of the culture that we talked about earlier now, because we cannot deny the fact that this culture is playing a very huge role in our democracy and in our general life when uh, people don't want to antagonize anything the elder says, and everything they say you just have to go by it. But democracy is not like that. I want to I want to state categorically that we are not practicing democracy as it is in Nigeria. If in democracy, if you elect somebody to office and the person stay a while and is not performing well, you as a people, you have the power also to call such person back. You can recall them. So the fact that we have elected them to be in office for 4 years does not mean they must spend that 4 years completely. No, if they get there and they are not doing well, in democracy, we can call them back. As we have gone out to vote for them and put them in the office, they are not doing well, we can also go out again and vote for their recall. But an average Nigerian, average African don't know this, that we can even recall those that you have previously elected. You can recall them if they are not doing well. This is how democracy should be practiced, and this is how it is practiced everywhere. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Oluwatosin. We have spent quite a while on this discussion. Viewers, we have been talking about Mali, the Mali coup, and how it has it impacts Africa generally. And with me has been Mr. Oluwatosin and Mr. Michael. All right, so we will be doing a review of such cases that is happening in Nigeria and in Africa generally and around the world. So thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate you, and I hope that you would like to join us very, very soon. Thank you so much. And I pray that Nigeria and Africa indeed soon becomes the kind of nation, the kind of continent that we will be proud of, and such that we will also participate. I mean, we're already participating with via what we are doing, but I hope that we get opportunity to contribute better than we are currently doing. Thank you so much, man.